Hello everyone. A little more Monday motivations. That one there might have been a little bit too long. I don't know. Let's try for about 12 minutes here, and I'm gonna continue on with the concepts that I've done. Like I said, most of them were based on what's already out there, and I have to change them and do my thing. I mean, I can't leave everything stock looking. That's why my company that I've just formed is Hartman Custom Company, HCK, which HCK means many things: company, cars, craft, coach building, no, coach built, consulting, concepts, clothing. So yeah, I dream big, and although the bank account's not very big, but I'm 64 years old, and I guess maybe I'm kind of like Colonel Sanders, although he just did one thing. But my main focus is everything custom. Live a life of custom, because in today's craziness, you have to be different. And what always differed me from people, aside from being a Hartman, which that right there is kind of different to most people. Like my wife says, you're an enigma. People really don't get you. So, like I said, most of my vehicles, and most of you out there that are slowly becoming my subscribers, know me by that. And like my buddy Joe, he used to say, stripes with an attitude, because the striping and me, myself, had a pretty crazy attitude. But anyway, today is about motivating with cars, and cars motivate me. There are mornings when I wake up, and man, I'll tell you, I have to put on these reading glasses. When I wake up, boy, I don't feel motivated at all sometimes. But I check out the cars on the internet, things, what's going on in the automotive world, cars in general. I mean, I respect and appreciate everything, whether, if they're stock, that's fine. I just like to see what's new, and I've been that way ever since I was a little kid. Couldn't wait for next year's models to come out and see what was new, because back then they differentiated, I can't say that word, differentiated cars by the styling first and foremost, and then what kind of engines it had and interior. And man, I just could not wait to see the new cars. And my dad, he was the same way. So this is one of my friends over in Europe who built this thing. He actually did it kind of a burgundy. It's a real pretty car. He calls it the Silver Spectre. He took a Rolls Wraith and made what they call a shooting brake out of it, which we call a two-door wagon here in the States. And of course I had to ruin it. I made a little sedan delivery out of it and lowered it, put some billet wheels on it. And that's my thing. That's what I would do if I had one, or had money to do one. And here's another little concept. Actually, this is another one of these things that I copied. Yeah, we all copy. I don't remember what this is. I was thinking it was taken off the round. There's maybe it's a Duesenberg, a round door coupe. And I think this thing, all this front end here and the skirts and all that were redone to look like this. Of course, I added the stretched back in here, and of course, I did the flames. But this says Carpetalism. You know what capitalism is? Well, I am a carpetalist. I believe in every facet of the automotive industry that is good for mankind. Like I said the other evening, and I think was it this morning when I did the other motivation Monday motivation. I think I talked about that. I don't remember. But carpetalism is what keeps this world running. Yes, everybody's wanting to go to electric, but I don't think it's going to survive if they don't make changes. And I know they are, but I don't think it'll survive alone. Everything in this world needs to be propped up by something or someone. And I do believe that ICE, which is internal combustion engine vehicles, ICE-V, should stay. I mean, look at it now. Like, go look at the turn of the century. Some pictures of the turn of the century, like New York and LA. I mentioned this too. smog was horrible. Now it's, I mean, we still have smog, you know, carbon, things like that. But anyway, this car I believe was built in the 30s, and I know it's based on a real car. It, like I said, it's someone else's idea. So I did my thing, but yeah, I am a carpetalist. And I'm sure there will be people disagree with me, but that's okay. Okay, this is another concept of that 38 delivery I talked about the other night that we think was mine, bought by Krispy Kreme, and then California Street Rods, and there's a man in Florida that I think he still has it. But this is the way I would do it. And this here, like, this is based on, this is that 37 Cadillac based on Willie Hartman. And of course I did my thing to it. I would love to do a real one. I think back then it was 25 or 30 grand in 1937, which I don't know how much that would be nowadays, probably 400 or 500 grand, maybe more. But I would love to do one of these. Of course, I'd want more room inside here and, you know, a little bit different configuration. But, you know, the way I look at cars is you can do whatever you want to your car, you know, as long as it's legal. It doesn't hurt anyone. Because, you know, it's your world. I mean, this is your car world. You do whatever you like. And people should not tell you how to do your car. I follow many, many newsletters that I've been getting for 20 years. And one of them is GM Authority. Now, I'm a Chevy guy. And I read that thoroughly every day. They write short articles, usually 5 to 7 articles about new cars and some hot rods and classic cars and what have you, and they're not very long articles, and man, you just will not believe the negativity on there. Hey, I see something wrong with every one of them, but I don't say that. I just say, hey, there's a possibility there we could change things, make things different. In fact, I sent in my resume, which isn't much, but I have written tens of thousands of pages of my articles, and I've got manuscripts about cars and the car industry and, you know, hot rod industry and what have you. And of course, man, you have to do 5 to 7 articles a day, sometimes 7 days a week. I couldn't do it. Anyway, someone did this 58 Nomad concept. There was a 58 Nomad, but it was a 4-door. You know, we had the 55, 56, 57 Nomads, which were 2 doors. And yes, there were Nomads made in 4 doors, but someone came up with this idea. And I think it would be really cool. I had a 58 Yeoman that was turned into a delivery. You know, it wasn't configured like this. It was a 2-door wagon with windows back here where someone had filled it in. And the thing is, the Yeoman and the sedan delivery are the same because the doors are a bit longer than the standard wagon. And he had put the little 58 Impala vents down here. And it looked pretty cool, but it was just, at the time, I couldn't afford to build it, and different things were going on in my life, So here's the 2021 Tahoe, and I put a bit of a Dago rake on it. That's a rake that goes like this. I think they started that in California. And some torque thrust. I like torque thrust. I call it Sugarlow. This was going to be one of my monikers, Flaming Motorvations. I might do something like that on Fridays. I don't know. I like motivations, but man, you know, everybody tells you how to be motivated, but they don't tell you how to do it. You know, you can, it's like a car, it can start up. That's motivation. But it's not motivation until you put that son of a gun in gear and mash the gas. Now here it was I think it was an International that someone had made a wagon out of. I call it a wagon. Had windows, some different things down here, some trim. And I did some Halibrand style wheels. Of course, dropped it. It would be on airbags, of course. And closed in this section, made a big old panel truck out of it because it has, I think it has 2 doors in the back. Did my logo. I tell you what, you drive down the road in that piece, it will get plenty of attention. And here's my buddy's 37 delivery in San Antonio. I would love to buy this car. It's been built about 20 years. He started building his about the time I bought mine, my first 38 project. And he got it finished. It's actually orange, pearl orange with like goldish flames that I outlined. You could barely see them. I had a hard time outlining those things. But this is a little tagline that I love. You know, of course it's from John Lennon, but I changed it. Imagine all the people living life as custom. I think if more people on this earth look at themselves in the morning and said, you know what can I do today? Make my life cool, make it custom without hurting other people. Something that is, it's you, not something that your peers necessarily do, but something that's you. It's truly you. And of course, in my world, as with many of you guys, now the color on there shows different than it does on here. This is really more of a purple, like purple and blue. There's my logo, Hartman Custom Company. But I put some, I don't remember what these were. This is sort of a salt flak look, but I don't remember where these came from. So what I'll do is I'll cut wheels off different vehicles and reshape them, put them on here. It's not that hard. See here, I can take and highlight that. Let me show you real quick here. I can highlight that, and I can make it darker, which probably needs to be that. Make it a little lighter, and I can sharpen it and different things. So you get the idea. But all I'm doing here is just trying to motivate you. Now this car here, why drive a car that already exists? I don't remember if I came up with that. I had that in my files. This was a 34 sedan that belonged to my friend in Austin. I think, I did a lot of stuff to it also. The paint job, that's when the pastels and all that stuff was crazy in the late 80s. And this was a nice street rod when I think he bought it in Minnesota, St. Paul, during the Street Rod Nationals. It was like a candy brandy wine color. So Mike, he's crazy. Now this is a guy that no one can copy. So he took this thing all apart, put a tune port in it, redid the suspension, put a belly pan underneath it, and I striped it in like 20 different colors. And he would let me take it off and go drive around, do whatever I wanted with it. So I just put my name on the side here, Mike. That's when it was Mike's pinstriping. And he cut the top. Now, one thing a lot of people didn't like, this was before this, he put a Maxima wing on the back here. A lot of people didn't like that. How many minutes we got here? 12 minutes? A lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was different. And like I said, Mike, he's different. So what he did was he said, hey, Mike, go ahead and get, they'd already kind of started putting it in the final sealer and what have you. And they were going to shoot, I think, a couple of days later. No, it wasn't sealer, just primer. Do more blocking, what have you. And yeah, he cut that top pretty hard. So he said, hey, go home, do some line drawings of this, and give me some ideas. So we went home, and I gave my daughter one, and she did this. She said, Dad, let's do that drip. So she drew it, and I think he still has that piece of that drawing. I did 4 or 5 of them. He picked this, so he put it on the wall there in the paint room. And he's always saying, Jenny did that, boy. That's Jenny's design. I mean, I did some things, changed a few things. So, man, it took us like a day to tape all this stuff up. So they shot it, and I came in here with an outline, airbrushed it. It was a magenta outline, then did a bunch of drips. Let's see if you can see that. This is not a very clear picture. This is an old picture. This is an old picture when I had my, for some reason it won't, that's on a different program, okay. But, it won't come in very clear, but let me do this so you can see all the splashes and drips. But anyway, this thing ended up in some books, actual books. A few of them, they were kind of like pastels, here today, gone today. So the car ended up hot pink with purple scallops. I have a picture of that somewhere. And then he repainted it black and sold it to someone in Dallas. And the funny thing was, I saw it at a swap meet one time about 18, 20 years ago, and I followed it. I had my bicycle there. I followed it to where that guy was driving on a swap meet spot, and I said, man, I like that 34. He goes, yeah, it's for sale, man. And I said, I know that car. He goes, yeah, really? And how people, they don't believe you. And I said, yeah, I know that car very well. He said, really? He said, a lot of people think they do. I said, really? I said, well, let me tell you this. How about all the about 20 colors of pinstriping underneath? He kind of looked at me. He goes, how do you know that? I said, I'm the one that did it. As you look under there, it'll say Mike's pinstriping. He goes, yeah, that's what it says. So anyway, what happened was the people I think my friend sold it to, they got caught embezzling about $10 million from their oil company. And the feds came in and confiscated the car. Now, I have no clue what happened to that vehicle. But Mike does have another one, and he painted, it's kind of a light purple. Here's a book that I've been working on. It's 147 pages. It's about surviving business. And the name of it is called Main Street to Mean Street. I know we were talking about cars, motoration, and things like that. But this is part of that. And what this book is going to be about is about how you start a business, you're all hopped up, just can't wait to get up the next morning and get busy on it. And you stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning, get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Because I say that because I've been there, and so have many of you. And all the perils and the issues that go along with dreaming of having that Main Street business, the picturesque business you see in these 1930s and 40s and 50s TV shows and movies that look so serene and like everybody's happy and everybody's making money. I mean, they have little problems and things. And then one day you look up, you're not making any money, maybe because of a war, maybe because of disease, maybe because of just, economic depression, who knows. So what I discuss in this book is about what is going on Mean Street, because it really is Mean Street, and how to handle it. So I'm not real sure when this one will be done. It's pretty much edited, but I'm editing it for this thing we've had last year that's killed a lot of businesses, and it's killed businesses and actually put a lot of life into some businesses. So anyway, that's what that thing is. But anyway, that's a little bit of my own Monday motivation, continuing from what I put on this morning. And this is my life, and I think a lot of you guys know that. Most of the people that I've noticed looking at my videos and people that are on my social media, things like that, you know me, you know what I'm about. And yeah, I do. Here's something here I was playing with. I come up with a thing called Carvertizing, and of course, come to find out, you can't come up. You can't. There's nothing new. I went online, and sure enough, there was someone that is already doing this. So I put Hartman Carvertizing. Let's see. I had it all. I did some crazy stuff to it. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. But what it is, in other words, using your vehicle to market your business or whatever you have going on. And this is an actual ad from someone that was in the electric lighting business back in this is like a 40 Chevy sedan delivery. So what I did is I put my little deal: automotive advertising brings customers to your business. Design, build, broker, modify, signage, consulting, and which that is something I would love to do. I mean, if my multi-million-dollar ship came in tomorrow, I say ship, not car, I would probably do something like this: buy them, build them, lease them, and teach people how to drive sedan deliveries, because it is a learning process. Let's do a little bit more here. We've got, oh man, it's 18 minutes. Okay, well anyway, that's my second edition of Monday Motivations. Now I'm going to tell you guys this, and you probably understand what I'm doing. I like doing this. I really enjoy it. But it's actually, I'm going to work it like a business. I'm going to push. I may do 2 videos a day, 3, and you probably get sick of me. You probably get sick of seeing my mug. But that's the only way I can build a business, doing this. And yes, it's like everyone else. I want to do it. But, I'm going to tell you right now, the bottom line is make money with it. Because, I'm still a fairly young guy, 64. I don't have a lot of Social Security coming in. My wife has some, not yet, and she's still working, which I thought she was going to retire, but she's not. She can't really retire on much. So I'm just being upfront with you guys. That's how it is right now. One more thing. I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. This is a bio that I had to write for a big giant corporation, and I've got it. Let's do a couple more minutes. This is going to be over 20 minutes long. So let me read this. I had to send this to them. It's like a resume. They want to know what I've done with cars. And so I bought my first car at 15 with $60 I made working long hours after school at a body shop and a ranch on weekends. And that's after giving most of my earnings to my dad. We called him Ben, so he could buy groceries for all of us kids, which there were 8 of us at the time. By the time I was 18, I'd already gone through 7 cars. My first engine swap was at 16. No, it was 15. I don't know what put that on there. On a 62 Impala. And then the car ownership thing went viral after that. Nope, you're wrong on the first car 1957 thing. When I told them I've been doing this since 1957, they're like, what does that mean? They said, there's no way. I said, well, I was born into it. I was conceived and born into it. If my mom was alive, she would tell you differently. I was calling out car names younger than 3 years old, and that's what she used to tell me. I pretty much know better than anyone what I was doing through life when it comes to cars, because people have doubted me, which that's natural. People have discovered they cannot argue cars with me because of everything I've done with them as a profession and hobby. They lose every time. And I don't know everything about cars. I don't know everything. I mean, I read some of these posts, and I'm like, God, these people are smarter than me. But I've been a consultant in the specialty aftermarket, as well as working with many companies back in the 90s in development of performance, specialty products, etc. I got paid a little bit for that. Not all that. Most of it was just voluntary because I wanted to be involved. Like the inventor of the tailgate net. One of the pioneers, OB2, were clients. You know, I met them up in Austin a couple of times. We talked about business. I've helped entrepreneurs start business, as well as working with investors, find, acquire, and sell them in the auto industry. I wrote several books on the hot rod and custom industry, auto industry, marketing, psychology of cars, many articles in Automobile Trade magazine. First time he published book was in 1984. It was about starting an automobile business, which grew to 200 pages. Okay, let's go back to this. I didn't get rich doing that either. But it was fun. You know, all this stuff has led me to where I'm at now, which several books, blah, 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 blah. It was published in 1984. My sister was living with us. She was going into labor, and I sat there with a typewriter and typed out, I think, 100 pages. Sold several thousand through the mail in traditional public relation way before it was free to publish ebooks on the internet. I've had discussions with GM on advertising concepts, which 15 or 16 years ago, they were offering a bunch of money for people to come up with advertising campaigns, and I sent several in. They were nice enough to write me back, saying these could work, but not at this time. I'm currently working on another book about my life of cars. Every day I write, advise, spread the word all over the net and social media about cars, answer many questions. Last year, interviewed me, like I said a while ago, about the writing for the GM Authority. Yes, I've had many great experiences, crazy hobby, but what has been best was my 40 years pinstriping with people all over the country, including celebrities, entertainers, ballers, politicians, blue collar, and all sorts of good family people and business owners. Striving for good humans and many, you know what, crazies, taught me much about people and their love of cool cars. When it comes to my passion for cars, I'm not talking crap, it's a fact. But I had to send that. And the guy actually emailed me and he said, man, I appreciate your candor. He said, you know, if we ever decide to get into something like that, the psychology of cars, what have you, because I don't have a degree in that. I just based that on my years of dealing with tens of thousands of people. He said, we might use you for some articles that has to deal with that, or maybe some advertising campaign, but I don't know. You know, we'll see what happens. Okie doke. That's it for today. Thank you.